Draft season is upon us. I'm going to give you 3 must-do draft action items to win your leagues. This is practical stuff. You want to take this information, put it in your pocket, wherever your pockets are, and save it for draft day, because I'm telling you, no one's teaching this stuff, okay? Make sure you guys take this advice, get a pen and paper out, a notepad, a sticky note, stick it on your fridge, whatever. Like maybe your girlfriend or wife is going to be upset because you're going to have a sticky notes with my strategy on it, but you need to write this stuff down or keep a note on it because I want you guys to smash your leagues, okay? 3 must-do draft notes. Got to take the notes, okay? I'm ready to dive into it. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. It takes a second. Also, if you're a regular or if you're new, hit the thumbs up. It takes a fraction of a second. There, you could have hit it between me saying it. It takes a second, right? Less than a second. Hit the thumbs up and drop a comment below. Let me know what your favorite draft strategy is. What are you doing this year to implement to get ahead of your sheep league mates? Because all we want to do is beat those guys in our leagues. We don't like those guys in our league. It's all about competition. We're gonna roll up our sleeves and figure it out. Okay? Make sure you guys do grab the 16-round draft solution. Though I'm gonna give you all the tips, all the tricks, all the sleepers, all the late round steals, practical ironclad roster. 16 rounds is the game changer. Printable cheat sheet, updated till the season starts. Video training, mock drafts, everything. Click below, grab 60 rounds. You will smash your leagues. Your league mates won't even know what hit them. You're going to be light years ahead of them, okay? Let's talk about these 3 must-do action items for your drafts that you have to do if you want to win and have the advantage, okay? Draft season is upon us. I mean, we are in what? Early June. It's going to be, some people are already drafting. I'm drafting, doing best ball leagues, doing everything. I'm getting right into it, okay? Turn on that bell. Let's get to it for notifications. All right, number 1, you have to draft based on your own research and the 16-round draft session. What do I mean by that? If you are drafting based on ADP, you will 100% lose. Well, not 100%, like pretty much certain that you're going to lose because you're doing what everyone else does. So if you're just strictly drafting based on ADP, last year, you would have got CMC first overall. Why? Because everybody else told you to do that. Last year, you would have 100% got Tyreek Hill round 1. Guess how that would have worked out? Guess what else would have happened? You would have drafted Deebo Samuel and or Ayuk round 3 when I told you to avoid those guys, right? That's what you would have done. Also, if you were drafting on ADP, which a lot of people did, drafted Christian Kirk ahead of Brian Thomas Jr., okay? Crazy. Or Dalton Kincaid round 2 to 3. Everybody just assumed that Dalton Kincaid was the number 1 target for Josh Allen. Like, it's just like basically these lists come out, right? These magazines. It's like the sheep collectively come together and they all say, hey man, like these are our rankings, and somehow it all gets printed out and put on sites and podcasts and everybody's following the same narrative. It's crazy. And I'm the only one straying away. I heard an amazing motivational quote. Write this down. It's going to hopefully motivate you in life. Hopefully it'll motivate you in your day, with your job, whatever you're going through. I heard this, it'll hopefully inspire you. I heard this today. It's not even a motivational quote, but it's something I learned. The buffalo, buffalo, the animal, not the Buffalo Bills, but even though they represent the same animal, but the buffalo, did you know that when a storm comes in, right? When a storm comes in, the wind comes in, typically animals run away from the storm, right? Any type of storm, if it's coming this way, right? Any other animals, herd animals, cows, they tend to go away from the storm. They want to get away from it. Buffalo is one of the only animals that runs towards the storm. Now, you're saying, well, that's kind of crazy, right? The reason they do that is if you run towards the storm and face it and you have that challenge and you overcome that adversity, the storm is going to be lower, right? Because you're heading in the same direction of the storm and the storm is moving this way. You're going to come out the other end a lot quicker, whereas the other guys are going to get caught up in the storm and they're still going to be in it and they're prolonging inevitable and they think they're getting away. They're running away from stuff. So don't run away from stuff. Challenge yourself, push yourself, and that comes to fantasy. When you see somebody on the board and you don't feel comfortable, like example this year, T. Higgins, end of round 2, dude, like there's so many other players that you can get, right? So don't be afraid to go against the grain. When everybody's running away from the storm, challenge it head on. Now, don't actually run into a hurricane, like obviously evacuate. Like, let's use some common sense here, guys, okay? But you guys get the analogy and the metaphor that I'm trying to get here, okay? So that is draft tip number 1. Draft based on 16 rounds, your own research, and not on ADP. Don't draft on ADP, okay? Remember, last year, Christian Kirk ahead of Brian Thomas Jr., Deebo Samuel, Ayuk round 3, and on and on and on. I go 50 examples on that, okay? Number 2, don't sleep on rookies. Rookies win leagues. Last year, Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., a perfect example of 2 great rookies that I was suggesting to draft. Now, mind you, I had Keon Coleman. He ended up not doing as well as I thought, and I don't think it was entirely his fault. I think the offense was kind of getting settled in without a true ace wide receiver, and I don't know what they were doing, man. It was a disaster. Cook it was a beneficiary of that, James Cook. Either way, he's leaned up. He's doing better this year. I still got him on my target radar is Keon Coleman, but got him in Dynasty. Apparently he's doing really well. So rookies, don't sleep on them, but understand it's got to be the right rookies. Now, in the 16-round draft season, I've laid out which rookies I love, right? But like a guy like Tatoria McMillan, that rookie guy, right, on Carolina. Tataroya, hopefully I'm butchering his name. He's coming off round 5. He's got Bryce Young throwing to him. Based on ADP, now he could have a great season because he kind of theoretically could be the wide receiver 1. They got to get there, Thielen. I just don't trust Carolina, right? Like, there's so many, like Trey Harris, right? He's there, and then he's coming off rounds later, Jack Beck, and there's so many other potentially great rookie wide receivers in great spots that are coming off later, but everybody just assumes that this McMillan guy, or Tatoria, the new rookie on Carolina, is somehow by default the top guy. Like, how do you even come up with that? Like, it's like he's on Carolina. So rookies can win leagues, and you should not be shy on rookies and stacking a bunch of them. But the thing about it is, guys, you got to make sure that they are the right ones. That is key when you are drafting these guys, that they are the right ones. You just don't want to draft a rookie that's like going to bust or in a bad situation or just never going to see volume. You want to draft a rookie that's going to absolutely thrive. And I tell you exactly who those are. I'm not going to get 100 of them, but if you stack like 3 or 4 rookies for great value, particularly at the wide receiver position, 2 of them are going to hit. You're going to fill the wide receiver slots with great rookies. That's what I did with Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey. I saw an opportunity for these guys to shine, and they absolutely crushed it. So tip number 2, rookies win leagues. Don't sleep on them, but it's got to be the right rookies, okay? And I prefer drafting a rookie with upside over a guy like mediocre. Like Rashad Bateman just got paid like a 3-year, $36 million deal, right? Like, I would never have a guy like Bateman on my team. Years to wow me, I'm not wow. That's a true saying, right? I'd rather have a rookie. I'd rather have Pat Bryant, rookie who's like wide receiver 100 on Denver. I'd rather have him on my team over a Rashad Bateman, who, again, I don't know why they paid him 3 years, $36 million. His stats are disgusting. 4 years, no 1,000-yard rushing season. His first 3 years, he accumulated only 4 touchdowns in those years. Last year, he had 9 touchdowns, 700-plus yards, but, like, he's done nothing, really. Just one decent year. Had a subpar year, and they're paying him. Like, Ravens are crazy. So rookies win leagues. That's tip number 2. And the final one, okay? It's a simple one. Back it up. What do I mean? Have a backup plan, okay? So what do I mean? I always ensure that I cover my positions. If I have a quarterback, I tend to get an ace one early, and I back him up with another guy that could be a starter. You're always backing up your players with guys that could be on top of their depth chart. Example, running back. I still go workhorse running backs early, but I'm aiming high on the depth chart. Again, kind of aiming high on the depth chart, which is tip number 1. Don't draft that ADP. Find that perfect player on your research by aiming high on the depth chart, right? So going back to this, you want to have a backup plan, but make sure that you're aiming high on the depth chart for your backup. Don't just get any old Rashad Bateman backup. Get a backup that's got massive upside. So quarterbacks in a 2-quarterback league, I always get 3 good quarterbacks upside, right? Like I would get, let's say, for example, a Josh Allen, back him up with a Justin Herbert or something like that. And I may have to pay a round or 2 earlier to get a good backup. At the end, if it's a super flex, if he's available, I'd probably get myself like a Cam Ward who's got like a major ceiling upside type player, right? So you want to have a backup plan. Backup for a backup, belt and suspenders. Same with tight ends, right? You want to always get 2 good tight ends, one who's kind of safe, and then a major upside like a Tyler Warren, something like that, right? So I'm giving you guys some golden nuggets here and some sleepers as well. So always have a backup plan for a backup plan. And when you're doing that, make sure that they're guys that are going to really, really potentially take off, that have in a situation or a committee or a lack of a committee where they're really going to shine, the opportunities there. Also, take a look at their draft capital. Where were these players drafted? Were they high draft capital players by their team? Were they second round picks? RJ Harvey, Denver. Looks like a good situation. Now, they are meeting with Dobbs at the time of this recording. Hopefully, he doesn't end up there. Not Dobbs, Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins. But he's on top of the depth chart, Harvey, and he was drafted in the second round. Looks like a good situation. Every situation different. Another guy, Caleb Johnson, great situation. Relatively high draft capital. No competition, right? Don't tell me Jalen Warren. That's not competition, okay? So, aim high in the depth charts, guys. At the end, make sure you absolutely back it up. Tip number 2, don't sleep on rookies, but make sure they're the right ones. And tip number 1, draft based on your research. Very, very important. Grab 16 rounds. That'll give you some guidance, right? Aim high on those depth chart and don't draft based on ADP, okay? Hopefully that Buffalo story gave you some motivation to go against the grain. Don't always go with the herd, right? Like I said, if you drafted CFC first overall last year, you would have been screwed. Or Debo Samuel, Ayuk in the same round 3. It's crazy. They're doing the same thing again with T. Higgins, and they're doing it with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy in the early rounds. Like, no, I'm not getting any of these guys. Nobody even knows who the one is on these teams. Like, and they spread the ball around. I want volume getters. I want the alphas on the team. All right. Hopefully this helps when we're talking fantasy football draft strategy. And subscribe, turn on the bell if this is making sense to you. Grab the 16 rounds draft solution, and make sure you guys below join the Patreon group. And that's for in-season waiver wire, starts and sits, direct access, exclusive videos, and so much more. Hit a thumbs up, drop a comment. I appreciate you. Let me know you're here. We'll talk soon. Have a great day.